Welcome back to the channel. I found another doctored up auction vehicle, so let's tear into it and see if it's one that we definitely want to avoid or one that we just kind of want to avoid. If you're new here and you don't know what we're doing, we look at third-party auction vehicles, ones that were previously purchased from an insurance auction, brought back and fixed up a little bit. Not correctly, just enough to hide the damage or make it look less severe than it really is, so that they can put it back in the auction and sell it to some uneducated or unsuspecting buyer. So we're here to educate anybody watching these videos so that they don't fall victim to these sellers. So let's tear into our vehicle for today. Today's featured vehicle is a 2023 Honda Civic Sport. Comes with the red car curse for free, and that's probably not the worst thing it has going for it right now. It's offered by our favorite sellers down in Miami, Florida, with a rebuildable Florida title. And it is being sold with the title pending, which means they don't actually have the title in their possession because the finance company holds it. They have a floor plan on this where they loan money to the dealers. The dealers have 30 or 60 days, whatever their plan is, to pay it back. So the idea is to buy the car and get rid of it before you have to start paying on it. So let's see how close they got to doing that. It is a third-party auction car because there's no seller here. So let's see what they did to see if they could make some money on this thing. We'll start here. We're missing a wheel liner. We got a little curb rash on our wheel, some damage on the bumper, missing a fog light bezel. Looks like we're missing a lower valance. Damage back there, we'll get to that in a second. And this side matches. Also missing a wheel liner, a fog light bezel, a little more damage on the bumper on this side. Got some damage on our wheel. And something's definitely up with the suspension there. Looks like maybe a little bit on this front door edge. We're missing trim on the top of our door here. And a rocker molding. Yeah, we're missing a rocker molding. We're missing the trim on the back door too, and our fuel door. Not sure if they took all that stuff off to paint it. Like maybe they were originally going to fix this car and they were stripping it down so that they could paint all this stuff, but can't see why it would be missing. We're also missing a bumper bracket back here. We have a broken taillight. This one looks okay, just that one's cracked. We got a dent in our deck lid. One down here. This wheel looks okay. Don't see anything else. Oh, here's the good stuff. So we definitely got hit in this quarter. And we got some holes in our quarter. The experts are going to tell me that those are bullet holes from a 50 cal because they live a much more exciting life than me. I'm going to say that they drilled those holes to put a plate back there to pull this out. But what do I know? I'm thinking that this wheel went forward only because I see this down here and this folded up rocker molding here and a door that looks like it was hammered flat. So that matters because when this wheel goes forward and smashes all this stuff, this rocker is much harder to replace than just a quarter panel. You got to change it all the way up. It's high strength steel. You can't section it. So you got a lot of work here. If it's hit just straight in by another car like a T-bone, you could just pull it out and it's a lot less work. But I don't think that's the case. And we also have to worry about this front door. If it shoved this back door far enough under, this door shell will collapse the door shell on the front door. Even though the skin looks okay, the door shell might be collapsed and out of that little pinch weld in the back. So they definitely pulled it out just to make it look pretty. I guarantee that it's only on the outside. They didn't pull anything. And they put this on here and it doesn't pull the inner panel. It only pulls the outer. So all the rest of that stuff's going to be collapsed inside. It looks better on the outside, but there's nothing inside you want to see. Actually, you probably do want to see it, but I can't see it from here. So you don't want to see it if you paid for it. So what do we have in here? We have a couple deployed airbags, knee bolster, and our driver's airbag. The passenger 2 airbags up here look okay. Our side picture again. Hey, we have an ambient temperature. That's new. Usually we don't get that. It's 5,516 miles on it, so that's pretty new. Lots of dash emojis. It is running, so that's a good sign. We got the standard quarter tank of gas or less. What do we have back here? We got some red back here that we shouldn't see. So I'm thinking that door's pretty far collapsed if we can see in between the door panel and the seat. Looks like the knee bolster trim goes underneath the steering column. Some assembly required. I guess you got to put that in yourself. They couldn't even take the time to snap it back in there. There's our VIN. And there's our engine. Doesn't look like they messed with anything under here. And this one has a mass airflow sensor. They didn't steal it. Or maybe they stole it out of the other HRV for this one. I don't see any red flags here. Looks like our hood's never been off. No drywall screws, no duct tape, chewing gum. Everything looks good here. We got a fob, blurry front end picture, side picture, other side. There's our mileage. Okay, let's see what our 360 looks like. Kind of skipped here. Not sure why they. Looks like they didn't actually do a walk around. They just used the actual pictures that they took. So let's see if we got a 360 inside. It'll tell us a little more. Yep, our two airbags are off here. Our seatbelt's deployed. It's just dangling there. Oh, we had a curtain airbag that went off over here. Our headliner's torn. So they just tucked everything back up there. Cut the airbag out. Same thing with this side. Can't see the side of the seat over there or over here. So we're definitely gonna need two curtains and a headliner, and then the two up front here. Okay, so what do you think it looked like before? Better or worse? One or two? So here it is in the auction. It's been in two previous sales. Let's check them out. So it does have a iBuyFast on it now for 5,900, and last week they got 5625. I think they should have taken it. They did pay 4450 for it. So let's see what it looked like when they got it. Well, that explains our suspension up in the front. Looks like it hit something over here. Our broken headlight. Looks like they straightened out that wheel a little bit, but that's really all they did there. Oh, when they got it, it had a rocker molding. It had the trim around the tops of the doors, and it had a fuel door. All that stuff must have fallen off in transport. Even had the bumper bracket. And the taillight wasn't correct. So either that got broken or they swapped it out. So did they buy this car just for a rocker trim, some upper door trim, a taillight, and a bumper bracket? Seems kind of weird, but maybe. And that confirms our suspicions. It did get hit in the back end and shove that suspension forward. Not an accident that you want to fix. This thing is pretty much totaled. Not even worth rebuilding. You could, but I wouldn't. So I don't know what they did with the suspension since it was still sitting all cattywampus. I'm guessing they just kind of shoved some stuff underneath it and zip tied it together and set it down on the mini spare. And then put some wood screws or drywall screws in the rocker molding to make it look pretty. They pulled all this back, hammered that door flat so that it doesn't look like that. Looks like, it was a glancing blow. Definitely hiding quite a bit in there. And our bumper is peeled forward in our curb rash. So what I'm thinking is it got hit in the back end, pushed into another car, and then bounced off that car and into or over a curb and into a sign. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't parked because we do have airbags that went off, so it was definitely running, probably sitting at a stoplight. We don't have a grill here, so it looks like they put the grill in, or the grill was in the car and they just stuck it back on there. It is possible too. Since they took other parts off, I'm thinking the grill might have just been in the car and they stuck it back on. Yeah, that taillight's not broken. Oh, okay, so we got a lot more airbags here. Both of our seats are deployed, so they did a pretty good job of hiding that. They cut them and stuffed it back together, and then the pictures didn't show it the best, but yeah, they cut out any remnants of it hanging out of there, so you don't realize it needs the 2-seat airbags. Definitely needs a seat belt, knee bolster, driver's airbag, curtain airbags, which we already knew, an aerial view, 5516, so they didn't drive it anywhere. Did he use up a little gas, letting it run, I guess. All the dash emojis and some warnings. Oh, we even have some airbags in the back seat that went off on the sides. They definitely did tuck that in to hide that, and our curtain airbags. So we have 2 airbags in the back seat, 2 curtain airbags, 2 airbags in the front seat, and 2 airbags up in the front. So there's a total of 8 airbags plus seat belts plus a module. So that alone will total this vehicle, and a headliner. Not because it's got to be totaled because of the airbags, just because of the cost of the airbags. When you got 8 deployed airbags at $500 a piece, you got $4,000 worth of airbags and a headliner plus labor. And there's our engine. It explains why they didn't touch anything on it. There was nothing to touch. So, and there's our VIN. It's the same car. And there it is. So, some parts fell off while it was in their yard, and they straightened out a quarter, straightened out some suspension, and now they're selling it for some unsuspecting buyer to fix up a Civic and take it to race wars. Good luck with that. So that's our doctored up auction car for today. Is it something that I would buy? Maybe if I needed a nice low mile engine and trans and a wheel and a door, because that's really all that's good on it besides a couple little odds and ends. So I think I'm going to pass on this one just because the shipping from Miami, Florida up to me is a little expensive, and these cars are plentiful. They're all over the place, so I don't need to go looking for this one. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We will do more of these doctored up auction cars, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.